Namaste, my dear friends. Now referring to you taxable event for import of goods and export of goods under the customs law. இறங்குமதி பண்ணும்போது what rate of duty is applicable? ஏற்றுமதி பண்ணும்போது what rate of duty if available to pay is applicable is the study now we are going to make, my dear friends. So now I am referring to you taxable event for imported goods. If the imported goods taxable event எப்படி நம்ம கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது அப்படி பார்க்கும்போது imported goods can be cleared for home consumption in two routes. One, imported goods where the importer submitted bill of entry, which is white color bill of entry, where the importer ready to pay the import duty if the department satisfied with the goods, and then in their payment of the duty paid and clearing the goods for home consumption is one route. Another route is where the importer submitting yellow color bill of entry, where the importer is requesting to Department of Customs, please allow me to warehouse the goods. Thereby the importer is facilitated to postpone the payment of the duty, meaning thereby duty can be deferred. Thereafter, when the goods are lying in the warehouse, that time submission of sub bill of entry are also be called as green color bill of entry, technically called as ex-bond bill of entry, and clearing the goods for home consumption. Therefore, there are two routes. In these two routes, what is the taxable event for imported goods? Ani nama pakumbodhu imported goods cleared for home consumption. First route, where taxable event enna at the time of goods crossing customs barrier is taxable event ani sollikanga. When the goods are crossing customs barrier is a taxable event if the goods are cleared for home consumption. எப்படி ஐயா நம்ம கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது customs barrier na எப்படி? Check post Department of Customs le when you paid the duty and clearing the goods, department check post verify பண்ணுவாங்க. நீங்க டியூட்டி கட்டிட்டீங்களா, நீங்க இம்போர்ட் பண்ண goods, இறக்குமதி பண்ண goods physically matching with the bill of entry. Once satisfied, Department of Customs at the check post they says that okay, நீங்க கிளம்பி போலாம் ani ஒரு permission கொடுப்பாங்க out of custom charge order. So at the check post, that is called as customs barrier. இப்போ நம்மளோட goods import பண்ண பொருள் check post வரணும்னா there are two events should be satisfied. One வந்து department given the permission to the master of the vessel, entry inwards granted. ஒரு சம்பவம் நடந்து இருக்கணும். Yes. ரெண்டாவது சம்பவம் என்ன? Importer should say I am the owner of the goods by submission bill of entry. இத ரெண்டுமே நடந்து இருந்தால் அந்த goods can become to the customs barrier, namely a check post. இது ரெண்டுமே நடந்து இருந்தால் check post goods வந்துரும். அப்போ Department of Customs வெரிஃபை பண்ணிட்டு உங்களை பர்மிஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க, நீங்க எடுத்து போகலாம் கூட்ஸ் சொல்லிட்டு. அந்த செக் போஸ்ட் பாயிண்ட் என்ன சொல்றோம், நம்ம கஸ்டம்ஸ் பேரியர் சொல்றோம். நம்ம இப்படி சொல்லலாம், கிராசிங் த கஸ்டம்ஸ் பேரியர், கூட்ஸ் கிராசிங் த கஸ்டம்ஸ் பேரியர் இஸ் அ டாக்ஸபிள் ஈவென்ட் ஃபார் இம்போர்ட்டட் கூட்ஸ் சொல்லும்போது, அது சிம்பிளிஃபை பண்ணி சொல்லும்போது the rate of duty applicable at the time of entry inwards granted to the conveyance or the bill of entry is submitted, the date on which bill of entry is submitted, among these two dates whichever is later ani சொல்லும்போது அன்னைக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய rate of duty is applicable, is a taxable event, is a point of taxation ani ஈஸியா சொல்ல முடியும். ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் நான் சொல்ற பாருங்க. Entry inwards granted to the vessel. If I import the goods from, let us say, Mexico, the goods came to Chennai port, the department granted the to the in-charge of the vessel, master, ஐயா நீங்க goods நீங்க இறங்கி விட்டலாம் போர்ட்ல சொல்லி பர்மிஷன் கொடுத்தாங்க. அந்த பர்மிஷன் என்ன சொல்றோம் நம்ம? Entry inwards granted to the conveyance. என்னை கொடுத்திருக்காங்க அந்த entry inwards? Let us say for example, the entry inwards granted on 3rd June 2024. அன்னைக்கு entry inwards grant பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அன்னைக்கு ரேட் ஆஃப் டியூட்டி என்னன்னா 12% இருந்துச்சு. 3rd June 2024 ரேட் ஆஃப் டியூட்டி பேசிக் டியூட்டி 12%. பில் ஆஃப் என்ட்ரி சப்மிட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. பில் ஆஃப் என்ட்ரி எப்போ சப்மிட் பண்ணணும்? டைம் லிமிட் டு சப்மிட் த பில் ஆஃப் என்ட்ரி வரும்போது the importer should submit the bill of entry before the end of the day, including holidays preceding the date of arrival of the particular vessel, aircraft or vehicle. Or otherwise, Bill of entry can be submitted within 30 days prior to the date of expected date of arrival of the vessel, aircraft or vehicle to the port or airport or land port. இப்போ நான் வந்து bill of entry wanted to submit after the goods arrives the customs port submit பண்ணலாமா? அந்த கேள்வி வரும்போது bill of entry after the vessel reaches the customs port should not be submit in general. If I submit accepted, but you have to pay the penalty for it because you violated the provision. So bill of entry can be submitted before the expected date of arrival or after the arrival by payment of penalty as the case may be. So taxable event க்கு வரும். Taxable event க்கு நம்ம வரும்போது for imported goods at the time of goods crossing the customs barrier is a taxable event for imported goods meant for home consumption னு சொல்றோம். இந்த சமயத்திலே இது சிம்பிளிஃபை பண்றதுக்கு நான் என்ன சொல்றேன்னா rate of duty prevailed at the time of submission of bill of entry or rate of duty prevailed at the time of entry invoice granted to the vessel, aircraft or vehicle as the case may be. Among these two dates, which date happens to be happened later as on that date rate of duty is applicable for your import goods which is meant for home consumption. ஒரு சிம்பிள் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நம்ம கொண்டு வந்து சொல்லும்போது இங்கே if I import the goods from Thailand, the goods came to Chennai port on 1st June 2024. Entry invoice granted பண்றாங்க on 1st June 2024. That date rate of duty 12% இருந்துச்சு. 12% rate of duty when on 1st June 2024 when the entry invoice granted to the conveyance. Importer submit the bill of entry 25th May 2024 அன்னைக்கு rate of duty எவ்வளவு இருக்கையான்னா 10% இருந்துச்சு. So bill of entry submit பண்ண date 25th May 2024 10% rate of duty. Entry was granted to the conveyance namely the vessel on 1st June 2024 rate of duty 12%. இப்போ ரெண்டுத்திலே which rate of duty is applicable? What is my taxable event for my imported goods meant for clearing for home consumption and வரும்போது among these two dates 25th of May 2024 or 1st of June 2024 whichever is later as on that date what rate is applicable that is applicable for our import of goods clear for home consumption. புரியுதா சார்? இந்த மாதிரி situation வரும்போது which rate is applicable now on 1st June 2024 12% that is applicable for our imported goods. அதே மாதிரி பார்க்கும்போது import of goods which is warehouse. From the warehouse, when you're going to clear the goods for home consumption, that time taxable event arises for imported goods which is warehouse. அதாவது warehouse goods import duty நம்ம கட்ட வேண்டியது only when goods cleared from warehouse by submission of X bond bill of entry. Taxable event for imported goods meant for warehouse is at the time of clearing the goods from the warehouse by submitting of X bond bill of entry up to the taxable event for warehouse goods. What is a taxable event for export of goods? ஏற்றுமதி பண்ணும்போது taxable event என்ன? If there is duty on export, multiple rate of custom duty is available, which rate of duty is applicable for export of goods? Export of goods taxable event is nothing but when the department giving the permission to the exporter on their shipping bill, let export. That is the taxable event for exported goods, provided subsequently the goods should be loaded into the vessel, aircraft or vehicle. If I want to export the goods through sea or a vessel, as the exporter should submit the shipping bill. Department permission grant பண்றாங்க, நீங்க export பண்ணலாம், entry or granted. That is the date of taxable event. As on that date, rate is available for export is applicable, provided subsequently the goods should be loaded into the vessel or aircraft or vehicle. It's called taxable event for the exported goods. Further, my friends, referring to you, important concept, there is always one should refer exchange rate because all our exports as well as imports denominating in the foreign currency. So we should convert into Indian rupees with appropriate exchange rate, and on the value of imported goods which is arrived in Indian rupees, value of exported goods which is arrived in the Indian rupees, on that we have to apply the basic custom duty to pay the duty to government of India in Indian rupees. இப்போ import of goods and வரும்போது what exchange rate should be considered? Only CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs exchange rate only we should consider. We should not consider any other exchange rate. Only CBIC exchange rate. Suppose if in the given circumstances two or more exchange rate of the CBIC is available, in that case for import of goods may be meant for home consumption or may be meant for warehousing. As the case may be, exchange rate as per the CBIC at the time of submission of bill of entry by the importer, as on that rate, what rate of exchange declared by CBIC, that is relevant. In the case where export of goods, exchange rate is relevant only when there is at the time of submission of shipping bill, exchange rate declared by the CBIC is relevant. No other exchange rate is relevant. Is clear now, my dear friends? Further, my dear sir, a concept called as free on board, a concept called as safe value. All our exports meant for FOB value, free on board. There is what assessable value to pay export duty if there is any duty. All our imports should be measured as safe value, cost, insurance, and freight. That is called assessable value. If I am liable to pay import duty on what value means on CA value of imported goods on which only I am liable to pay import duty. I am not going to pay import duty on FOB value. If the FOB value is available, I have to develop it to the CF value. On the CF value only I am liable to pay import duty because CF value is assessable value for imported goods. All our imports measured at CF value, all our export measured at FOB value. இப்போ எப்படி நம்ம FOB value கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது? எப்படி it is called as a free on board? How it can be called free on board? Anything is free in India or globally anything is free? Nothing is freely available except Rafi classes on YouTube. So okay, free on board and வரும்போது FOB எப்படி நம்ம கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது? Importer from outside India place the order to the exporter in India to supply the goods. Exporter என்ன பண்றாரு? Purchase of raw material, spending the money and overhead cost and manufacture the goods. Thereafter he incurring transportation from his factory to the port. Thereafter insurance, all expenditure incurred by exporter. Now the goods load into the vessel on board. Up to that expenditure incurred by whom? Exporter. From the importer point of view, it is free on board. Once this goods reaches to the importer country, port or airport, importer has to pay the amount for these particular goods. Then FOB become a cost to the importer. From exporter to the importer, the insurance, exporter to the importer, the freight. It is at the place of importer at CIF value. Same way, if the goods coming to India, then the importer in India, exporter outside India, FOB value of exporter means what? Up to the point of loading the goods in the vessel aircraft, the expenditure incurred to the exporter. From the importer point of view, it is free on board and so on. Once the goods came to India, the importer should pay the value for the goods. It become a cost to the importer. From the exporter to importer, insurance freight will be liable to pay by importer. Therefore, at the importer point of view, the goods at a CF value, that is assessable value to pay the import duty. Pilferage of goods. The goods are available at the docks. Yet to clear for home consumption, somebody came and thefted the goods. திருடி போயிட்டாங்க. Am I liable to pay duty on imported goods? I imported the 100 goods, but only 20 are left over, 80 somebody thefted. Before clearing for home consumption, I noticed that somebody thefted 80 units. Am I liable to pay import duty for the thefted goods? The law here says, hey importer, you are not liable to pay any import duty for the goods which is thefted. Then the compensation will be collected by the department from the custodian, who is nothing but the in charge of the particular port authority of India. They are liable to pay compensation. Importer is required to prove how the theft taken place, not required to prove. எனக்கு எப்படி தெரியும் யார் வந்தாங்க, எப்போ வந்தாங்க, எப்படி திருப்பி போயிட்டாங்க, எங்க போயிருக்காங்க, தெரியவே தெரியாது. அதனால importer not required to establish any event in a given case. It is sufficient to say that if the theft taken place is sufficient. How it taken place, it is not required to establish by the importer. If the goods are warehoused, in the warehouse, if theft taken place, the in charge of the warehouse is liable to pay duty. So, this particular preference of the goods where the duty not liable to pay only when the preference has been taken place after unloading the goods and before clearing for home consumption. When the goods are lying in the docks, that time theft taken place, then only no one liable to pay. Relinquishment of title on the goods. Na enna? Na input பண்ணிட்டேன் சார். நான் the importer. My name is Raj and Company. I import the goods from, let us say, Mexico. The goods came to India. What I imported is, let us say, A grade quality of rice. Physically came to India is D grade quality of broken rice, which is not my intention to import. If so, I am relinquishing my title on the imported goods. இதனால் இந்த பொருள் என்ன பொருள் கிடையாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரைட்ஸ் நான் வந்து விட்டு கொடுக்குறேன், நான் ஒன்றும் கிடையாதுன்னு சொல்றேன். Relinquishment of title and imported goods அப்படின்னு பண்ணும்போது am I liable to pay import duty? The law of the land here says that you are not liable to pay import duty if the goods on which you relinquish your title. ஆனால் I cannot relinquish my title and the imported goods if imported goods after importation department is invoked certain investigation, some discrepancies has been noticed by the department. அது எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு நான் வந்து என்ன சொல்றேன், I am relinquishing my title ன்னு சொல்றேன். அப்படி அந்த மாதிரி பண்ண முடியாது. For example, my dear, I imported sugar, but physically came in the container is cocaine, which is harmful product, which is prohibited goods. Department notice பண்ணாங்க, container open பண்ணி பார்த்தாங்க, they identified cocaine இருக்கு. In the name of sugar, this imported cocaine. Department came to know. அப்போ நான் வந்து இந்த goods கிடையாது, இது I am not importer of the goods and சொல்லிட்டு I cannot able to relinquish my title on the imported goods. அது ஒத்துக்க முடியாது. You are responsible for the goods which is imported. So relinquishment of title on the imported goods allowed? Yes. Before notice any discrepancy on the imported goods, then nobody liable to pay. It's clear up, my friends. Now I am referring to you Customs Tariff Act 1975. என்னமோ கேட்ட மாதிரி initial class lesson number 1ல நான் சொல்லிருக்கேன் சார். Source of Customs Law. அதுல நான் சொல்லிருக்கேன். 1. Customs Act 1962, Customs Tariff Act 1975, rules and regulations, அப்புறமேட்டு notifications, circulars இருக்கு. இதெல்லாம் சேர்த்து நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம், source of customs லான்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? So இதுல வந்து Customs Tariff Act 1975, one of the source of customs law. இது என்ன? Customs Tariff Act 1975 basically is a big Bible book which containing broadly 2 schedules, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. Schedule 1 talks about duties and imported goods like basic custom duty, additional custom duty, safeguard duty, protective duty, countervailing duty, and the subsidiary articles, followed by anti-dumping. On the other hand, Schedule 2 of the Customs Tariff Act 1975 talks about duty on export goods, only basic custom. No other duties will apply for export of goods. For information, social welfare surcharge is applicable on BCD at the rate of 10% only for imported goods, not for our export of goods. Customs Tariff Act 1975 is like a Bible book which containing almost all 21 sections. Each section divided into chapters. There are 99 chapters. These 9 chapters spread under the 20 sections. Each chapter further divided into heading. Each heading further divided into subheading. Each subheading further divided into subheading. So, chapter containing 2 digits, followed by heading 2 digits, subheading 2 digits, subheading 2 digits. Entire thing you club into together, it is 8-digit unified coding, which is called as harmonized system of nomenclature. Harmony, equality among what? Among the classification of the goods across the globe, namely WTO World Trade Organization unanimously agreed and implemented, all member countries of WTO unanimously agreed and implemented to have uniform coding by assigning the number for the product. Name for the product may be mislead. If I say glass, it may be article glass, it may be fiber glass. Like that. If I say cloth, it may be cotton, it may be cotton, it may be linen, it may be mixed cotton. Like that, there are so many discrepancies, so many subheadings of the goods. So, in that case, to avoid the confusion in application for import and export of goods, if we assign a unique number for certain goods, uniformly all member countries of WTO will follow the same coding for the given product. It is called as harmonized system of nomenclature, which is now 8-digit coding. Also, we are using this under GST law. HSN code, Harmonic System of Nomenclature, which is derived from the Customs Tariff Act 1975 only by reference, which containing 21 sections. Each section further divided into chapters. There are 99 chapters, but chapter number 77 is a blank, it to fill. Each chapter further divided into heading, further subheading, sub-subheading, consists of 8 digits. Uniform coding to have smooth functioning of import and export of goods.